Hi, Chitra. Hi, Chitra. You can hear me?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Jagat.
Hi. Hi, Chitra. Hi,
Hi,
Ayushree.
Chitra. Hi, Jagat.
Nice to see you.
Hi.
Hello. Hello. Great to have you all together.
Yeah, nice.
Yes. Over to you, Ayushree. Ayushree, you're on mute. You kick things off.
She's ticking off her task list.
Okay.
The
Hopefully.
multitasking woman. We are going to talk about them.
Multitasking.
Tick, tick.
Hello, Indrani. Thanks for joining us.
Yes. Ayushree, you good? Okay. Or Chitra, you want to probably get started and just either ways.
Yeah. I can go ahead. Hello, everyone. We are on the Vidphone Show today, and I'm really very excited to be collaborating with them for this session on women on sales. Throughout this month of July, we will be talking to inspiring women who've done fantastic things in their sales careers, and they will be sharing their tips and, of course, their journeys through which we'll have some wonderful learnings. And we will also be able to understand how they dealt with various challenges and obstacles in their career path. For those who don't know me, I'm Chitra Singh. I'm the founder and chief mentor at SalesWomentoring, which is India's first and only community inspiring women to succeed at selling. How do we do that? Through our three pillars, which is mentoring, experiential learning, and networking. Interestingly, the three pillars are MEN. And as I'm very fond of saying in almost every forum, that we cannot hope to progress as women without the support of 50% of the population, which is men. It is a fact that there are more male leaders in the corporate world than women. And with strong allies, we cannot stop progress for women in the workplace. To come back to the reason why we are here with Vidphone, which again encourages women on their professional journeys and also talks about how hybrid platforms can help women to successfully navigate both their work and their lives. And Ayushri will be talking a little more about that part of it. So over to you, Ayushri, now to start off.
Hello, Jagat. Hello, Chitra. So sorry, I could not hear you guys when you guys were talking, so I just had to rejoin. And thanks, Indrani, Chandni, Akhil, everyone for joining. And obviously, Chitra, like we are live now on all our social media channels too. And I think very shortly we'll also be joined by the other speakers that we have planned the series with. So we'll have all of them with us. Good evening, everyone. A warm welcome to the launch of the Women in Sales series, which we are very happy to collaborate with Chitra Singh from SalesWomentoring. And we have had Chitra on the Vidphone Show twice before. And so it's finally very nice to, Chitra, start a subset of the Vidphone Show, a Women in Sales series, where we are obviously, it's a very needed topic. We have been talking, we see very less representation of women in sales. And I think getting role model women who have made a mark in sales, and help getting them to share their story on this platform would really help a lot of other women and girls to take that step to join this profession, to choose sales as a career. So I think that's the entire one of the major reasons, why we really want to do this, do this series. Because for us, even if it can impact one or two women, that's also success, obviously. And obviously, before, a little about Vidphone, I would like to, say that we are a platform, we are a hybrid work suite platform for customer generation and employee engagement, all based on video communications. So, we work both with SMEs and enterprises, and we have a lot of focus on women because we really feel, we have the set of tools that can really help women entrepreneurs, leaders to scale and grow. Because Chitra, that was what we were also talking yesterday, right? When we both were discussing that how can the platform help them, and that is
Yes.
something we'll touch upon also later. But over to you, Jagat, to share your thoughts, and then over to you, Chitra, to share why, a little about this collaboration, and how do you guys feel about this and the need of it.
Yes. Jagat seems to be having some alignment problems.
Chitra,
Uh,
you can go ahead until, we have Jagat fix that.
Yeah, right. To put it simply, I think that we are just trying to address the problem of lack of a talented pipeline of women in sales. At entry level, we find that there are 35 to 40% women who join sales. But at middle levels, there's just 20%. And by the time we reach leadership levels, the published figures are 13%. But my view is that they are much less, which is less than
Yes.
10% of sales leaders are women. Now, the reasons could be many. It could be pressure of targets, traveling, socializing, entertaining, after office, networking with the boys' club. Sales being a male dominated field, and so on and so forth. Even safety issues while traveling for women to remote locations. And the obvious reason, the elephant in the room, which is the work life balance, which a lot of women feel that suffers with sales. This is the reason why there are very few women choosing sales. And even amongst those who choose sales, there are hardly 10% who remain to make it to the top. And these are the problems we are trying to address through the sales mentoring community too. That is, create a talent pipeline of women in sales, create more sales leaders, and thirdly, also address the problem which entrepreneurs and business owners, women business owners face, which is not being able to scale their business because they don't want to or don't know how to. They fear to promote their brands. They are hesitant about appearing very pushy, and they are nervous about selling, to put it simply. And that is why I thought that bringing about more awareness through platforms like yours would ensure that more women are impacted and we contribute in our own way to having more women in sales. And about your platform, I think the simplest way of putting it is like it is an CRM, come Zoom, come email, come meeting manager all in one, right? If you put it simply, everything in one place instead of having separate, Zoom, email, CRM, and so on. It's like an
Yes.
integrated suite.
Absolutely.
That's what I found really
Yes.
interesting about Vidphone.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chitra. And like you said, that is that point, the behind our collab. Jagat, over to you. Your thoughts on why we at Bitcoin. Obviously, I've shared my views. Chitra has shared hers. Your views, on why this is important and why, as Bitcoin, we think that there's a need for it too. Your views on that.
Sure. No, wonderful. Again, thanks, Ayushree and Chitra. I think it's a series that I'm looking forward to. I'm not really a woman in sales, but I'd like to learn from the sales part of it. Look, I think, like Chitra mentioned, right, and she's probably the best person to talk about this. With a career, so many years in banking, in the finance world, as a sales leader, she'll know best the issues that the women today in sales are facing, and she's built a wonderful community around that. I think too much is never enough in certain cases. So while she's still doing her sales mentoring, I think what's important is that, even in Vidphone, we have a very similar kind of thought process, not only around women, but generally around, business, around startup founders, small businesses. Like Chitra mentioned, Vidphone, what we like to say is it's an all-in-one hybrid workspace. Today,
Absolutely.
hybrid work is broken. And what is hybrid work, right? The way I look at it is it's two things, especially when it comes to communication. You look at internal communication and external communication. Once you have these two in place, your business really is able to run. And yes, thanks for that nice description. We are an all-in-one kind of workspace, and hopefully this will play a small part in leveling out things for women, especially when you're doing remote sales. I think it's going to be a big thing. This work from home for women in sales is a big leveler, right? Because of various physical differences between men and women. Many times associated going to remote areas, doing sales here, there. today I think it's in your bedroom or your home study. You can just start pitching clients, and I think that's really important for us. So that's probably the reason we're together. And of course, Chitra is a wonderful person. We like to collaborate with people and build ideas around that. So yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Even in
Thanks,
sales, we
Jagat.
say that it's all building
I wanted
relationships.
to, Jagat, I would like to also thank all our viewers, Ruth, Indrani, Chandni, Preetha. And Preetha and Indrani are two of the speakers we are going to see in the subsequent sessions. So thanks, Preetha, all of Preetha and Indrani. And we would also, at the end of the session, we would also like you guys to, will enable the raise hand. And please come on video and share. We would like to ask you just a one quick question, Chitra, and I have planned. So please feel free. Uh, Chitra, can you hear us?
Yeah, absolutely. I can. Can you hear
Yeah.
me?
So Chitra, there are few key things we have planned, right? Obviously, women in sales is a larger topic, but I was just thinking of a few key topics within that, and one was art of communication, personal brand, the importance of communication, importance of a personal brand, and how to retain and attract customers in sales. Chitra, these were the three, subsets of women in sales that we were thinking about. So, Chitra, wanted to know your views on that and why are these important today? You work with a lot of, women every day across stages in sales, in the field of sales. So, please, your thoughts on this and why are these important?
So many questions you've asked, and there are lots of women here who have a lot of knowledge and wisdom. I think we should leave some of it for them to answer. I will give you very briefly. And we don't need to wait till the end of the session to ask them for their views. Actually, you can get them in anytime. This is a great question you've asked. But very briefly, to answer your question on why is personal branding important, because now the world has gone virtual, everything is gone online, and your brand presence speaks for you and tells the world who you are. In fact, even before you walk into a room or even before you walk into a virtual meeting, it is your brand presence which walks in before you. I You seem to be frozen, so can you hear me? Ayushree or Jagat, can you hear
No,
me?
no, I'm good. I'm
Other
good. I was just telling her to probably to rejoin. I do notice that even today I was in another.
Yeah, she
I
seems to
was
be
at a.
something, and there seems to be a problem.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
think.
let me ask the listeners. First of all, let me thank the listeners for being here, and let me ask them, can you hear me? I hope you can. So we were talking about brand presence. It walks into the room even before you. So before you enter a room or before you enter a virtual meeting like this, it is your brand presence and your social footprint which is going to speak for you. And therefore, it is very important for us to build our personal brand through social media and increase our social capital. So that is important, whether an entrepreneur, a business owner, a coach, consultant, solopreneur, or a seller, because we all know that the most important source of B2B leads is LinkedIn. And the social, more than 50% of the traffic which comes to websites through social media is on LinkedIn. And also we know that the conversion of lead conversion ratio of leads from LinkedIn is 3 times that of Facebook. And again, I'm specifically talking about B2B. And therefore, it is really important that apart from LinkedIn, we make our presence felt on social media. This is the first part of the question. The second part, what was the second question she asked? She's not here to ask.
Personal brand.
But anyway, so I think
Personal
she was
brand.
talking about
Personal brand.
in
Personal brand.
one is personal brand, the problems of retaining and attracting women in this profession, which we already talked about. Jagat, you also touched upon it, that there seem to be many myths and misconceptions, and the primary problem. In fact, a very interesting anecdote. I was speaking to a lady the other day about my community, and she said, "Why don't you rebrand it? Why do you call it sales mentoring? Because the association of sales is not very positive. So why don't you call it that is one point which I want to bring here, that it should be our common endeavor to elevate sales as a profession of pride for women and men. And
I think there's a bit of
Yeah, I
small.
think, yeah. Jagat, by the time maybe Chitra comes back, do you want to share, your thoughts maybe on this? Obviously Chitra touched upon art of communication. And the second was the personal brand being important in sales. Because I know that in the earlier part of your career, you also started with sales and you keep talking about it. And obviously now as part of Vidphone, we obviously sales is an integral part of any business. So your thoughts, Jagat, on
Well,
this.
I think sales equals business in a lot of ways, right? Business is the fact that you can do sales. Without sales, you are an R&D lab, or you are some obscure, I don't know, just a hobby project. But I think sales is essential. If Chitra, if you can hear us, you could just rejoin. I think there's a lot of load right now. We can see that, and I think that's affecting a little bit. But
Yes, from her end.
maybe you could
Yes.
just drop her a small text message, Ayushree, just to ask her to
Yes,
rejoin if
I'll
that's
just
possible.
do that. I'll
Yeah.
just do that, Jagat. Yes.
And to the viewers, yes, I think a lot of people using the platform, gives us a little bit of stress on the servers. Uh, so I think sales is equal to business. I think what Chitra has said, hit the nail on the head. Even when we try to hire people, if we give them a sales profile, it's somehow that they don't want to do it. But if you give them a marketing profile, they're more than happy to do it. But they don't understand that marketing is a cost center and sales is the profit center. And so a
Yeah.
lot of people would give a lot of money for really good salespeople. So I think,
Yes.
yes, like she said, sales has to come to the forefront and looked at something that's that's an integral part of business, and women have to play a big role there. I think, as she said, it's really a male dominated world in the sales field.
Yes.
Hopefully that will get leveled out.
Yes. No, absolutely, Jagat. And I think Chitra is back with us. Hi, Chitra. We just lost you for a bit. And, then Jagat was just sharing his 2 cents on the brand, how, your personal brand is important in sales. And that was the second question, Chitra. You have spoken about communication. The second question was on the personal brand being important in sales. Your views, Chitra, on that.
Chitra, can you hear us?
Yeah, I
Nothing.
think that
Probably
she's facing some network issue on her end mostly.
maybe if Akhil is on, Akhil, can you kindly help her? Maybe she has to
Yes.
exit the old tab.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I
I
can
think
see some comments. Yeah. Yes. Thanks, Akhil.
yeah.
Yeah. So meanwhile, Jagat, Chitra and I were also discussing, and we'll get back Chitra, to talk
Yes.
about the rest of what we were also just discussing yesterday. And Chitra was very keen to know, how, because, as Vidphone, obviously we are doing this, the Women in Sales series. But as Vidphone, how can we also, enable and be a catalyst to women in this field who are, maybe a consultant in sales, who are doing some business, or, who are helping other businesses in turn? How as a platform we can help them do their work better. Suppose they are sales consultant or sales coach, how the tools we have built or the platform we have built, how can they really help their business and their clients, and also a women part, how can it help women more? So Chitra and I were also discussing how being you can be anywhere, right? You can today, how video, that's the power of video. You can be anywhere, you can speak any language, and you are able to still not stop your business. You can still connect to your clients, you can still collaborate with your employees. So Jagat, your thoughts on this, how as a platform we want to really be a catalyst to the growth of these various women and also leaders in sales today.
Right. Couple of important points, right? So one, I think the existing video conferencing, today we look at video conferencing mainly for, interactions, hybrid. Uh, and I don't think doing a webinar, for outreach, then you are looking to get them into a sales call uh, on a video meeting. I think there's a lot of in-between gray area there, which needs to be addressed, which I think a lot of these will happen through advanced tools. You need to have asynchronous tools where, video messaging, have a CRM where you're able to, bring together all of these digital leads in one place. I think that's very, very important part of the whole, part of the whole thing. I think Chitra's back. Chitra, welcome back. Chitra, can you hear me? Chitra, can you hear me? I think there's a little bit of technical issues, but yes, coming back to the answer, I think number one, today we have to adopt a little more advanced solutions to be able to really cater to the sales process, which is completely remote. And also, I think the second thing is vernacular. I think sales has often been associated only with English and the English processes. I think there'll be a lot of change when you look at vernacular usage, and I'm sure there are a lot of great salespeople in various parts of the world who will be very, very comfortable in their own in their own setting, but probably not in English. So I think these are two big areas where I think Vidphone and other areas are going to come in, other tools.
Yeah, I seem to have missed that. Can you all hear
So
me now?
just want to, if the audience is there, would like, if some of you have some points for us, I'm happy to take that in the comments. Please feel free to type. We have some technical glitches today for some reason, but that should not stop our conversation, folks. Anyone from Preetha or Ruth, we have a lot of attendees here. Anupama, Chandni, Gayatri, Ruth, all of you.
So are you now able to hear me?
Well, from all of you, if you
Yes,
have if you feel like,
we
feel
can
free to
hear you
type
now.
and
Okay.
tell
So I
us.
had to like
In
come
fact,
and
what I'll
go
do is let me just
several times.
enable the raise hand.
He cannot hear us. I think. Is it lagging or what?
Yeah,
So
Jagat, you
you
can
would see
hear
a
us?
small hand icon.
Yeah,
No.
he's just enabling
So feel
that.
free
Yeah.
to. Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay.
But I can hear you, Chitra. So we were just asking because we lost you, and Jagat had shared his two
Yeah,
cents
yeah,
on
I saw
personal
that. I
brand.
saw that, and he made a very
Yeah.
important point about people
Yes.
in the regional areas, maybe who talk in other languages, and that's
Yes.
one important point that he touched upon. We all feel that people from larger cities and towns have an advantage because they have access to technology and they have access to speaking in English, and that is why they have an advantage, but it is not so. And even in sales, because we are in India and sales is all about people connecting with people, and those who know any of the other languages definitely have an advantage. Even there, when we were in banking, in fact, we used to be asked whether you know the local language, because that would definitely help both in the customer facing desks as well as when we went for sales calls. Imagine somebody talking the local language. Like, I'm from Tamil Nadu. When I used to go for calls with a name like Chitra Singh and spoke Tamil in Tamil Nadu, people were delighted,
Yeah.
especially the business folks. Right. So I,
Fantastic.
I don't think that the audience has any questions. So go ahead, Ayushri, with your next set of.
Yes. So, Chitra, the last question was, and I know that you had said that Preetha Dubey, who has joined us today, is an expert on this, and we'll obviously talk to Preetha on her session too. So, we were talking about, emotional intelligence plus sales. And, so that's like sales intelligence. You helped me coin this word while, we were discussing. And it's a lovely topic to discuss. That's the human connection. What's the human connection that a salesperson should feel or have? So, Chitra, your thoughts on that, and maybe then we can. Preetha, you are here. I can see you. So please, if it's possible for you, you can raise your hand, and we can let you come and share your maybe two lines on it, and what can we expect on your session on this, because we'll obviously be discussing a few of this on your session too. So, Chitra, over to you.
So, like I've been saying right from the beginning of this, that we need to ensure that people like us. We would never buy from a seller whom we don't like. So, as a seller, the first thing is obviously sell yourself as a person, then sell the problem. Sometimes a customer or prospect may not be aware of how much of a problem they have, and therefore sell the problem, then sell the outcome and the impact, and finally sell the product. At that stage, it won't be necessary to sell the product because the product will sell itself. So you were asking me about the importance of emotional intelligence, and it is very important for us to sense the from the customer's body language and the cues they give, from the way they either mirror or repeat what you're saying. whether they like what you're saying and whether they are able to connect with what you're saying. And it is extremely important to sense those cues and be able to respond in real time to those cues. And that's where I think the emotional intelligence of a seller comes in. And here again, women are at an advantage, because we all know that they are emotionally intuitive, they are socially more confident, they are natural storytellers, they are natural problem solvers. Because if you see all the problems which happen at home with kids and things, it is the women who are the problem solvers. And of course they are excellent collaborators, and all these because they want to find collaborative and win-win solutions to achieve outcomes which are win-win for both. Because of this, it makes them naturally good at selling. In fact, one of the interesting statistics you all must have heard is that their quota achievement rates are 8% higher than men in sales. Their conversion rates are 20% higher. Their win rates are 11% higher. And yet, for some reason, we are paid 21% less. And these are all published statistics. And that is another thing which we need to talk more vocally about: equal pay for equal work and equal performance. We should, I think, go back to Pritha more to talk about on
Yes.
your question of
Yes.
sales intelligence.
Yes. So Preeta has raised her hand, and I'll just let her in. Preeta,
You can also take her on stage. There might be another button there.
yes, yes. Just yes. Hi, Preeta.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, you are. You
Yes.
can hear Jagat Chitra. You can hear
All
Preeta,
good.
guys.
Yeah,
All
we
good.
can.
Yes. Yes, Preeta, please, we were just talk. First of all, thanks a lot, Preeta. We'll be seeing more of you on our session on 6th July, with Chitra,
Yes.
me. And so we are very excited. And we'll have another speaker, Priya Sachdev, with us, who would be a co-panelist. So, Preeta, very excited, to do this and have you share your stories. Preeta, we were just talking about emotional intelligence in sales, sales intelligence. And Chitra has been saying you are an expert on this. So we just wanted your views on this. Please go ahead, Preeta, and share your 2 cents on this.
Yes. In today's world, uh, for every salesperson, now I'm going to keep it gender agnostic while I'm saying that I know that it is with SalesWomentoring. Chitra, pardon me for this right now, but for everybody who is selling, it is very important for them to be high on their sales intelligence quotient. Now, what does it mean basically is that we do talk about that. Are you into B2B selling? Are you into B2C selling? Are you into D2C selling? Are you into, all these different types of terminologies are used for salespeople. End of the day, these are what are these aspects? B2B, B2C. These are sales process. So these sales processes are science. These are all scientific processes, logical, structured processes. B2B, B2C, D2C, these are all processes. But behind these processes, whom we are dealing with are human. So the interactions are all edge to edge, human to human. So therefore, what happens is, for a salesperson to be successful, they not only need to master the process or have a full control of the process, B2B, B2C, which is the science of selling. Along with it, they also need to be emotionally intelligent to be able to, um, to be able to work with human on the other side. And that is where comes sales intelligence, where a good performing salesperson, an ethical salesperson, and a passionate salesperson will always combine the science of selling along with a high level of emotional intelligence and develop their sales intelligence. So that is what the concept is. And that's what I do in my workshops and in my coaching. I develop these two sides of the salesperson so that they're holistically a better salesperson. Otherwise, sales has got a very bad name in the market. Kuch chipka ke chale jayenge. They are going to, con us into doing. So the minute people hear sales, somehow it gives rise to an very different kind of fear in people, which is wrong. And all of us who are in sales, who have been in sales, and who have been successful in sales, and we have seen the good side of sales, it is our responsibility to make sure that we bring back, or we bring sales the good name, or the justified brand name or the brand value that sales deserves. So that's what sales intelligence is. Hope that answers your question.
Yes, Preeta, it does, and thanks a lot for sharing that with us. And we are very excited to have you on a on 6th, where we'll be talking a lot more on this and a few other things, obviously. So thanks a lot, Preeta, for coming and sharing this with us. Look forward to
Thank
your
you.
session. Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much.
Thank you. Yes. So
Thank
Jagat
you.
and Chitra, there's a question we have from Ruth. She has asked us this question, and I'm just sharing it with you guys. How to increase customer base? Any thoughts from you guys on this? So Ruth has joined us, and she's viewing us this session, and she had this question asked earlier, that how to increase your customer base. Over to you guys to share your thoughts.
Maybe Chitra, please go first, and they can follow you.
Part of it we already touched upon, that now social selling is here to stay. So the traditional modes of selling, where you do the face-to-face calls or even the cold calling, I'm not saying cold outreach is dead. Definitely it is there, and there are various methods which we can continue to use, which could be the telephone, which could be the email, which could be the in-person calls, and so on. No one does in-person cold calls anymore. But having said that, so cold outreach, there are various methods. It could be email, it could be telephone. There is also inbound leads, which come in through your SEO, which come in through digital marketing, which come in through your webinars, which come in through your product videos, and so on. So both these are ways of getting in inbound leads. Outbound, which I already spoke about, and social selling is one of the ways of outbound selling, where you connect with your prospects through any of the social media. For that, you need to understand who is your target and what is their ICP. So at both at a company level for B2B and at a decision maker level, we need to understand what is the buyer persona. So for an organization, what is the ICP? For the buyer or the decision maker, what is their buyer persona? Once we understand who we are selling to and where are they, which means on which social media, what kind of content do they consume, what do they like reading, we could tailor make our content and personalize that to be able to reach out to them and do a kind of soft connect and a soft sell by reaching out to them and connecting with them, engaging with them on social media itself. And then finally sending them a DM. And there are various rules even for that, which is not more than 400 characters. And you start with a question or an interesting insight on the particular industry, and then move on to how your company can solve their specific problem and add value to them, or how similar companies in the same industry have solved the problem and you have helped them to do so, and how you can help this company ABC, whichever is your prospect, to do so. So it is a vast it is a question in which you have asked a lot of information, impossible to put all of that.
Yes.
To summarize, I would just say that there are various modes of selling. Inbound is what most people go for. They, sit in the chair and wait. That leads will come from their SEO and website and through marketing. But MQL is not equal to SQL, which means marketing qualified leads are qualified based on their understanding of the market. Up to a salesperson, a human being, to connect with the human at the other end, which Pritha was also mentioning, and go
Yes.
beyond the title and role and designation to the human being behind that, and then
Yeah.
actually understand whether it's a qualified lead. And the outbound efforts are in your hands, which means the email campaigns, the telephone calls, and of course the social selling, which is the most popular selling now. And you also started on it, Truth. I can see that you are posting important and interesting information. And the three ways we can connect on social media with our prospects is, we provide them information, we connect with them, and we entertain them. Entertainment is obvious through humor, through memes, through stories which are very humorous. Connecting with them mostly through personal stories, your own failures, your own mistakes, which you want them to avoid. And the first part is, of course, information and insights, which could be through infographics, which could be through interesting industry trends, which could be through case studies, carousels, and so on. So I hope that answers your question, and we can always take more of it offline.
Yes. So thanks, Chitra. Beautifully put. And I think, Ruth, I hope Ruth, that answers your question. Please feel free to put your comments on the chat box. And yeah, or raise your hand to share anything.
Yeah.
You have enabled the raise hand. Yeah. Also, Anupama had a similar question, and it was on how to sell her coaching. So I think Chitra, in your you are in your answer, you have touched upon both. These would be common, and we'll take
Yes,
more of these. Yeah.
It's a general answer I've given. Of course,
Yes.
the
Yes.
solutions are very, very specific. But
Specific. Yeah.
if you were to summarize, you need to understand who you're selling to. You need to understand what is their problem. You need to understand what you can offer to them and what is your UVP. So who are you selling to? What is the problem you're addressing? What is the solution you're offering? And how you are different from competition, or what is your unique value proposition? If you
Yes.
understand these three whats and the one how, you will be able to understand the landscape in which you are operating. Of course, sales is a constantly shifting landscape, and we need to take into account that we are selling to human beings, and there are also many other competitors around us, to understand that entire landscape and to be able to adapt, and then pitch
Yeah.
accordingly is what is the skill of a seller.
Yeah. No, thanks, Chitra. Yeah, and Ruth says thank you. Her query was answered, and Anupama, we hope we have been able to, answer your query to with what Chitra has shared. Jagat, before I would also like to invite Indrani to share a few thoughts, because she's also going to come to one of our sessions. But Jagat, before that, I just like to hear something from you, a little bit on emotional intelligence in sales that we already spoke about, your views on that, and also a little bit on what Chitra just said, how to really sell in today's world, and I think as a company also we do relate both things, right? How emotional intelligence is important, and you cannot just go and sell anything without having that impact. So please, Jagat, your views on this.
Yeah, I think very nicely put by Chitra. A lot of the points that she mentioned, tactically and strategies. But people would know. I mean, those who are following us, we grew 500% year before. We grew 1900% last year. So we are learning a little bit on the sales thing. I would say we're doing okay. And one of my friends told me this, and I take this to heart. He said, "I don't sell, I solve." The moment we start thinking about solving for the customer, the whole the myth around sales, all of that breaks down. Some may call it consultative sales, things like this, but generally see if you can really solve a problem. Then I think the sale happens automatically. This is number one. Number two is, again, just adding on to a bit of what Chitra said, I want to give a simple formula that I think is well known today. The value, sell, value, sell. I found that to be really useful, because as a salesperson, the first thing for you is to go out there and start pitching your product. But I think you have to understand that, like Chitra said before, we buy from people we like, we buy from people we know and trust. So it's very essential, even before the sales pitch, to set the right kind of trust levels between the two, which generally comes when you actually have something to offer. That's a big change in the mindset today. I think sales is not only about taking something or taking money from the customer, but it's more about offering them some solutions even beforehand, that they can actually get started with, and then they actually come to you for the next level and stuff like that. Sorry, the question, the final part of the question that you asked.
No, I just asked that only, Jagat. And I mean, obviously the emotional intelligence part which you signed, and I think you already spoke about the
Yes,
value,
emotion,
sell,
exactly.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
and
I
the
was just saying,
solving
how
aspect,
important is that? Yes.
it's very important. Otherwise, how many times do you get a call from telecallers and you just don't want to talk to them? Simple.
Exactly.
It's as
Yeah.
simple as
Yeah.
that. But a person who opens the call, maybe asking, how are you doing today? And, I'm this, and, I'm here to solve some problems
Yes.
that may be affecting you. I
Yes.
think definitely you're open for a call. So I would say, look at this. The old model of sales is to be changed, and rightly so, because like Chitra said, a lot of the sales, misconceptions are around unfair practices, and that should change. Sales is
Yes.
really the only profit center of a company. Remember that.
Yeah.
All other
Yeah.
departments are cost centers, and if salespeople are, they are really the face of the company as well. So very, very important to have a high emotional IQ and emotional intelligence. Yes.
No, really like that line, Jagat, that you said, that sales is the profit center, and I think a lot of us here would obviously connect to that, and thanks for sharing that. Chitra and Jagat, I think we have Indrani and we have enabled the raise hand. So Chitra, we were just thinking, Chitra, we were thinking of one question that we can maybe ask, all some of them who have joined us, and that was about one thing, that they have learned by being a woman in sales. And Chitra, please feel free to add anything if you want. So Indrani, we would like to have your views on this, and the raise hand is enabled. So please feel free to raise your hand so that we can let you in for a quick your 2 cents on this. If it's yes. Hi, Rani.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hello. Yes.
Very, very interesting conversation, and I think many of you have said this. I just wanted to add that, I think women come across as very authentic when they are in a, sales role. And that is what actually brings about the kind of bonding that we require with the customer, because it's not a one time thing. We go back to the same customer over and over again. It could be resell, upsell, whatever, cross sell, whatever. So I think the authenticity, the conviction that a woman actually brings as a natural characteristic or trait to the work, I think it goes a long way in taking that leap of faith from the customer side to be actually, take up the product or the service, whatever the person is, pitching.
No, thanks a lot, Indrani, for sharing that with us. And we are obviously excited to, have you and talk to you more about this. And, Chitra will have Indrani on one of our shows. So thanks, Indrani. Thank you for joining us today and, sharing that with us. We look forward to this thing. So Jagat and Chitra, we are almost at the end. I think we have already spoke about why are we doing this. Thank you for all the amazing viewers who have joined us. And, we touched upon the key topics like, art of communication, importance of personal brand, the emotional intelligence in sales. And so these are a few overall topics that we'll touch on in our sessions that's starting on 6th July. We'll have one on 6th, we'll have it on 20th, we'll have on 3rd, and then forward. So please, everyone, we would request you, to join us for these sessions. Chitra and I would co-host these sessions with Jagat and two of our other women. So you'll have all of us on the sessions, and you'll have lovely speakers sharing their journey. All these are people who have been leaders in sales for a long time. They come with a lot of experience, and each one of them, their things would be really key. Their takeaways. So we would like to really leave you with that. Chitra and Jagat, any closing notes from you both?
Chitra, first
yes,
you.
as I'm very fond of saying, sales is about transforming lives, about transforming the customer's world.
Chitra, please go.
Transforming
First,
the world.
if you can hear me.
Are you able to hear me? It's about transforming the world
Yes,
one customer at a time. And as long as you believe that, and as long as you believe that you that is the purpose of your life, to add value, to make
I think Chitra is having a bit of.
You are not able to.
we can hear you, Chitra. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
no, it's fine.
for me, being a seller has been all about this belief, which brings about that conviction in my sales interaction, that belief in the product and belief in your company, and finally belief in yourself. So when you believe in yourself, your company and your products, that belief translates into conviction and authenticity in your sales interactions, and the customer can see that shining through. And that's what makes selling easier, because selling is about transfer of confidence from the buyer to the seller, so that the seller believes more in you and your product than in their doubts. And if you have that self belief, you are able to transfer that to the customer too. So for those who believe that selling is a way to transform lives and to change the world, this is the right profession. And as Pritha said, it is our collective responsibility to ensure that we elevate sales and position it as a profession of pride and respect for both men and women across India and the world.
Yes. No, thanks, Chitra. And I think, we also have collaboratively, obviously, you have been doing this a lot as part of, your entire business. But I think collaboratively also at Vidphone, we are now starting these series, and I think it's a great start. And we'll have a lot more milestones and a lot more goals where we can actually provide this platform for all women and men, like you said, to become leaders in sales. Jagat, your thoughts before we close?
No, most happy. I know today there's been a bit of tech glitches, and I'm not very happy with that. But I just want to apologize. There's just a lot of load, and we'd probably get this up by today. Akhil, I think you're hearing me. So we got some work. I really want to thank Chitra. I think she's building an amazing community, and I want to do what we can to support her, and Ayushree
Yeah.
as well. I look forward to your sessions.
Yes. No, thanks, Jagat, and thanks, Chitra, and thank you, every Preeta, Gayatri, Priya, Ruth, Indrani, Anupama, everyone for joining us. It's a lovely community that Chitra has built, and Vidphone, both Vidphone and Chitra's community have joined us today, and a lot of others are watching us live. So thanks a lot, everyone. We are really keen to collaborate and work with each one of you to see how we can help you grow. So, and look forward to having a lot of you on our sessions. Thanks, Chitra. Thanks, Jagat. Look
Great.
forward to the sessions.
One good news here,
Thank you.
Jagat, is that
Thanks.
as you scale, your volumes are going up. So that's good news for you, right? You're not able to. The part of the technical glitches is because your volumes are going up.
Yes,
It's tremendous
yes,
amount of
that's right.
In a way, it's good news. It's a good problem to have.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good problem to have. Yeah,
Provided
that
we
means
solve it quickly. Provided we
that's a
solve it.
positive way to look at it. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love you, Chitra.
Okay. Thank you so much
No,
for
thank
having me
you.
here.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank
look
you.
forward
Bye.
to the next
Chitra.
session on July 6th. Thank you,
Yes,
all the
yes,
all the
yes.
viewers who have joined us today. Good evening. Bye bye.